What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Don't Forget About Me, the Supernova version, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, I want to do a little bit of a snapshot of Rebellion before we enter into the Conclave Arcana era, because a lot of the resources that we have here don't necessarily go back more than like 6-12 months or so. And I think it'd be good to have just a snapshot of all the different things Rebellion associated before we move into the next chapter, knowing that Rebellion is somewhat scarce, right? Just in general. And that way we don't have to rely only on Gold Matters. But shout out to Gold Matters for all the screenshots he provides from like 6-7 years ago. So here we go. First thing I'm going to look at is the number of packs circulating for Rebellion. You got 58,464. Keep in mind, there's almost 900,000 in the DAO, although until and unless the DAO decides to do something with it, you can consider that out of circulation. But it is a risk, right, to kind of dilute Rebellion cards at some point in the future. But hopefully the DAO should only be approving something that'll add value to the ecosystem when and if that does happen. Excuse me. All right, the other thing I want to take a look at here is the pack prices. So you got 409 on Hive Engine for Rebellion packs, although the estimated value hasn't moved from $3.10. So I don't know if there's something going on here with the estimated value. May not be calculating correctly because we definitely have seen the value move overall, and I'm going to show that to you in this next screen here, which is the set value. So even within just literally the last day, you can see a jump here we went from 69.69, nice, up to 77.35, right? So I mean that's a decent sized jump in a single day. Somebody went and bought a good amount of Rebellion cards and probably raised the floor up. But as I was saying earlier, right, you can only see the max set value for the last 6 months. So we can't even see what this looked like when Rebellion first came out, let alone we can't even see what it looked like, middle of last year at this point. So the cool thing is that now we know 7,735, maybe even just 7,000 before that, as you can see, before things really started to pop off. Like I would say that this pump here was probably due to maybe survival mode or the announcement of Conclave Arcana. I don't know. We'll see. And then you got, obviously the rest of the time here. So 7,735. I think that is going to be very interesting. For reference, even though this is a Rebellion video, I do just want to see Chaos Legion so we can kind of see how that has been doing. 821. You can see that this definitely did pop up after survival mode, and it has tailed off a bit, but keep in mind there's like 1.7 million Chaos Legion packs still out there. So there's a lot that needs to be eaten through. 1.7 million. All right, so those are the main things from a Rebellion standpoint at the high level, right? Looking at the packs, for context here, you can see where DEC, SPS, and vouchers are in that. Now let's go over to some of these specific cards because this is where I think it will get a little interesting. So we'll go to market here. We'll go to card sales. And what I want to take a look at is only Rebellion Core. And let's sort this by price. And let's start off with the summoners. All right, so you have Tofu at $62, Cryptic and Lorcus at about $50 each, EMP at about $36, and then the bottom of the barrel here, you got Arcane, Riskrell Drath, and Nidhogger between $20 to $25. So that is your legendary summoners. Your rare summoners, these are the ones that first introduced Tactic to us. Wow, Avina the Wolf has risen. This used to be at $1, so somebody went in and went heavy on Avina the Wolf. You got Prophet Rosa at about $1, 76 cents for Underboss Fabino, Nomos at 47 cents, and Rekla. And then finally, the common summoners, these are the ones that don't have any buffs or debuffs, but are dual element and are going to remain somewhat unique in that sense for the upcoming modern format. You got about 30-cent range. I don't think we've seen much of a rise in these. Maybe they were like in the low 20s before. Now they're in the upper 20s and 30s. Summoners is really the main thing that I wanted to look at. I mean, there's probably some clutch unit cards as well, but we can just take a quick look. Venka the Vile, Rage. Venka's at 29. Rage is at just under $20. Dark Dead Blast at 17.30. These are probably the really big ones, right, that were part of the meta or crucial for the meta in Rebellion early on, and even still now to a certain extent. I'm trying to see if there's any other cards here that are going to stand out. This is one that I think is fantastic for low mana battles, right, for Little League. It's at 667 right now per BCX. Again, this is a legendary card. I know some of these other cards have been quite good. You got Captain Fellblade. All right, dang it. Oh, whoops. All right. And Moxian Rebel is actually another one that I was going to go into. So Captain Fellblade, Moxian Rebel. Where were those at? Fellblade 257, Moxie and Rebel at $1.70. So yeah, Anansu. I mean, this thing got nerfed because there's a new card coming out that's pretty good. So that might not be the best example. Overall, though, these cards are still sitting at a decent pop. Now, I do want to go all the way to the bottom, and I keep clicking on these by accident. So let's actually just scroll all the way to the bottom of the barrel here and see what the floor price for some of these cards are. Okay, so you got 5 cents, 6 cents. These all look like common cards. 7 cents here for Kazi Fire Mage. So, in like the mid to upper single-digit cent ranges. Now, just for context, and I know that this is they're not even in the same kind of league anymore, but I do want to see where core is for Untamed. And you can see here we're in the 2 to 3 cent range. So Untamed, even though there's some fantastic cards at the top of the barrel for Untamed, we're at the bottom of the barrel. These cards just obviously aren't holding their value well. Even though these are the cards that probably should be going on land at some point if they're not going to be participating in survival mode. So that's all I really wanted to show and share with you guys. Just kind of go through all the different cards here, all the different cards as well as like the packs and the set value. So I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts. Where do you think this goes over the next couple of weeks and months? And then if we do want to speculate further out, now that we have a little bit preview of what Untamed looks like, how much is the drop off from there once these get rotated out of modern format, right? And that should be coming at some point in the next 18 to 24 months once we get the next core set that comes out. But ideally, at that point, we will have maybe more things with land that will get more cards available there. Maybe there'll be other formats similar to survival mode. Excuse me, that offer a lot of benefits for current cards or more recent cards, something like Rebellion. Again, a lot can happen in the next 18 to 24 months. I'm losing my voice here, so I'm going to go ahead and end the video, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.